What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Authentic Podcast with your host, Brandon, right here. Guys, we got a special episode lined up today. Before we get to our episode, before we get started, just would like to remind you guys to make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on our content down below. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and we're on YouTube as well. And go ahead and click the link down below and make sure you subscribe, because we have great content and value that we like to add towards you guys' lives, whether you're listening, whether you're swimming, whether you're running, wherever you are. Make sure you tune in for some good value. But without further ado, let's get the red carpet out, guys. Let's get the red carpet for our esteemed guests here with us today. We're here with Jack and Morgan from Up2. Guys, welcome. Just all this energy, excitement. I'm just excited.
Thank you for having us, my bro. This is awesome, bro. Yeah.
This is me. It's great to have you guys here. And guys, these guys are celebrities here for podcasting. These guys are great. We've been watching their content. These guys are awesome. Everything they do spreads light, positivity, and joy. And I guess that's why I'm kind of excited for today's podcast to get into it. But we'll just get right into it, right, guys?
Let's go. Yeah, bro. Let's go. Let's go.
Just give us a quick introduction. Just give us your guys' name, age, where you guys from, and then also your favorite food.
Nice. Oh, bro, that question's that always gets me, But
you
go start us off? Okay, cool. Kia ora fam, my name is Jack. I am one half of the Up2 podcast and the Up2 Aotearoa page. I'm a 22-year-old youth worker, born and bred in Tamaki Makaurau. I actually work out in South Auckland. I'm based out south, which is me.
Oh, let's go.
So it's as close as to Mahi, which is gangster. But yeah, bro, bit about me. I'm the oldest of four. It's funny, we were actually talking on the way here. We were like, man, we need to get better at our intros. Because like, every time. It's just like, there's just like a little paragraph I got, but I'm like, man, I got so much more to give. But bro, oldest of four. I've got a beautiful German Shepherd dog. We do have a beautiful German Shepherd dog called Juno.
Yeah, I've seen her on the post.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, bro. She's been in a few of the TikToks, bro.
Let's go.
But yeah, man. What else do I do? Yeah, a youth worker. Love my mahi, working with all the rangatahi around Auckland. I've done mahi in the North Shore, up north, out south now for the last couple of years. So that's been mean. And yeah, just been trying to raise the sort of like collective vibration through the podcast and the Instagram page, and doing that with my beautiful darling. So I'll pass it over to her too.
What's your favourite guy?
Oh, shucks.
The main question.
The main question, bro. Everyone wants to know, you know. Just in case for next time we can have it on the spread on the table, you know.
That'll be on. Favourite food. Oh, man. The first one that comes to mind is a chicken club combo from Wendy's.
Ooh.
Like, bro, the last 2 years, and Morgan can probably speak to this, I just am like not living on it, but like I wish I could. but bro, that is like honestly my go-to food. It's like so just comforting, and I really like it. But again, it's a tricky question because there's so many other things.
That's right.
But it would be that and probably sushi.
Ooh.
Like go-tos. I'm like, yeah.
Well, I guess what's your favorite sushi?
Recently, the fried salmon from the local sushi shop. But then I've also got a part of me which is like, oh, do I want to be getting the fish and stuff? Because, you know, I don't know. But yeah, salmon sushi, bro, before I get too like complicated with my kind.
It's just an hour of Jack telling us
talking about my foods. That's me.
Awesome. Kia ora, my name's Morgan. I'm a 28-year-old youth worker as well. I'm also a mum of a little 4-year-old son, who's actually turning 5 soon. He starts school
Let's
soon.
go.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for that. I'm like, yes, let's go. This is what I'm talking about. I don't know how to introduce myself. Born and bred in Auckland. I live in West Auckland. We live in West Auckland. And was born in Aotearoa, moved around heaps when I was a kid, and then came back to Aotearoa now, which is real nice. So quite a few years in between that. What else is there? I've been working as a youth worker for about 3 years, and I finished uni and then went into that. Before that, I studied just a bunch of stuff. I was just really trying to rack up my student loan. I was like, how much can I be in debt with a student loan? Like, surely study as much as you can. So I did like early childhood and beauty therapy, and like wanted to be like a physiotherapist at some point. And then I was like, what am I actually up to? And then went into youth work, which was real cool, and wouldn't change it for the world, sort of thing. But my favourite kai would have to be KFC.
Ooh.
I can't. But the lines say,
The lines have been ridiculous, though.
I know, it's all I
Isn't it
wanted,
crazy?
and then the lines just put me off, and I'm just like, oh, nah, is it worth it? And I'm kind of like, in my head, I'm like, yeah, but once we get in there, it's usually a bit of a battle. But
It's like right after it hits like 5:36, it's like crazy.
Bro.
Like you can't line up anymore.
nah. It's not worth it. So I'm just like, that's my favourite food gone. But yeah, sort of any sort of like fried chicken, that sort of stuff. Burgers and stuff.
Wicked wings.
Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely. Every time. Yeah.
But bro, do you reckon that Wicked Wings have gotten like less spicy?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I 100% think so. And we're actually, some of the boys in the crew, we were talking about it before. We're like, bro, the Wicked Wings actually used to be really spicy before, and now they kind of like dialed down.
Yeah, bro.
You know, because I think like it kind of got real popular, and then like I guess the only holdback was the spice. But I thought like that was the main point of it.
Yeah.
You know?
We'll separate the ones that can't handle it.
Yeah,
You don't
exactly,
deserve it.
exactly,
You gotta
exactly.
wait. Get some like
Bro, you gotta
tenders
do
or something.
Yeah.
Do the mahi to get your chili intolerance up.
That's the one.
But the thing that's really good is like KFC and Monaco, they have the hot and spicy, like the
bro.
chicken. Yeah, and then they still do it to this day. Yeah,
That's on.
Yeah, that's pretty cool because it still has that kick.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the one, bro.
Yeah, have to, bro. Have to. We're awesome, guys. Thanks for those introductions. I guess, you guys talked a lot about, or I mean, both of you guys, about youth working, right? And how important that actually played in you guys' lives. I guess you could just touch on that. Like, how'd you guys get into it?
Do you want me to start?
You go
Should I start? Okay, cool. So for me, bro, it's a wee bit of a long story, but so how it kind of played out was I was 18.
Yeah.
Decided to go live over in the UK with my best mate Johnny, and we were going to shoot over there. He was from there originally, so he had his parents had a place there that we could crash at for a while to get established, get our stuff, sorted and things like that. So that was the plan, bro. And then I was meant to go in September, and I think this was 2018, I'm pretty sure. So I was meant to go in September, and then in like March of that same year, my other mate Flynn, he was keen to go to Bali, and I was quite keen too, and we were like, oh yo, should we go, bro? And then we like just did it real spontaneous. Like we thought about it on a Friday, I'm pretty sure, and then by Sunday night we had booked our flights.
With the flights ready to go.
Yeah, and that was before the UK. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna like spend my last bit of money before I go to the UK and just do a month in Bali. And then thank God I did, bro, because when I was over there, I realized how much I wasn't realizing how much I didn't want to go, but I had this like epiphany, bro, like a massive sort of like wake up call that to me came from a higher power and was just telling me like, nah, you can't, like, don't go, bro. Like, you're not meant to be going to the UK. You're meant to be. And it was weird, bro. This all sort of like happened in like a download, bro. I was out of it, and then it was just like, nah, man, you got to stay in Aotearoa, and you've got a purpose to serve for young people, and especially I had this mad pull towards our Māori community.
Yeah.
So I was thinking like, far out, like I can't ignore this feeling. So long story short, I got back home to NZ and then just cancelled everything, bro. Like visa, ticket to the UK, called up the brother Johnny, and I was like, bro, I'm sorry, but I can't go. And he was like, hey, and then I was like, but I tried to explain it, and he was like, nah, well, hey, that's cool, bro, you do you. And thank God I did, bro, because that led me down the path of getting back from Bali, cancelling my stuff, to then signing up to do personal development courses, because I felt like I could make myself better, and be a better human in general. So I went down personal development, which led to diving into what do they call it? Basic youth and community counselling. So I've done that to get on a helpline and be like a phone counsellor.
Yeah. And
so during that journey, the organisation that I was working with were just like, hey, bro, do you want to be a youth worker? We see some mad potential. And it was buzzy, bro, because a couple of weeks earlier I was searching up on the computer like, oh, how do you become a youth worker, or what even is a youth worker? And then I found it, and I was like, oh wow, man, I'll be keen to do that. So yeah, bro. And then it was weird, sort of got scouted out in a way. So I like honestly was so grateful for that, because that moment for me, bro, was a real pivotal point in my life where I kind of found the new me or the new Jack in terms of what I'm meant to be doing from this moment onwards from here, And so Yeah, but ever since then, bro, I've just stayed in youth work. I just absolutely love it. It's on as, and I find that it's good for me, and it's like good for my soul to do this type of mahi, because I feel like I'm giving back to that feeling that I got of you're here to serve, bro, and you've got to do that. So yeah, so that was kind of what got me on the waka of going down youth work. And then just doing the mahi, I love it. It's, you know, seeing it can be tough at times, but it's also super rewarding.
100%, bro.
So it's been a cool journey, bro. But that's sort of how I got into it, eh?
That's mean.
Yeah.
Love it, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, so purposeful. That's what I really like about, you know, when you said that. Just especially knowing and understanding your purpose, like at that age, you know.
Yeah.
You know, because at that age, bro, like I had a lot of my friends and men, I was like, bro, let's go travel the world. Let's do this, you know, see what we can do, you know, and then just knowing that there's people out there, you know, like yourself, just to be able to think back and like, what can I do to add value to other people's lives and serve? Bro, that's mean, bro.
Yeah, bro. Shot. Thank you, brother. And then that's kind of just fed into other opportunities that have come as well. And so I believe that if I didn't make that call, then I wouldn't have met Morgan. We wouldn't have gotten together. Up2 probably wouldn't have been a thing. And yeah, it was just kind of like a real pivotal moment that few months of my life back in 2018.
Yeah.
Oh man, was it 2018 or 2019? Oh shucks, I can't remember, bro. One of the 2 years, but yeah, big moments, hey. Yeah.
Love it. Mean, bro.
Yeah, so Jack got scouted out. I actually studied.
Oh shucks.
So I'll take you back. Mine's not that long of a story, but it's started when, it kind of started when I was younger, because I didn't even know youth workers existed.
Yeah.
Didn't even hear about it until I started doing the mahi that I'm doing. Until I started studying it. But pretty much I'd just been let down by all the school counsellors that I'd ever had. Shout out to all the school counsellors. They're like, oh, Morgan. Yeah. But it was just really let down by them and the support that they were giving me during like high school and stuff. I was kind of just like, you know, like I need more wraparound support, but where do I go for that?
Yeah.
Like, who do I even go to? And they kind of send you off to the school counsellor, but that just wasn't working for me, and for a lot of the people that I was with as well. And so I was like, okay, what do I want to do with my life? After I'd studied all this stuff, I'd had my son, and then there was 6 months there where I wasn't working. I was just staying at home with son. And I was just like, man, I'm bored. Like, and I've got a baby to look after. That's taking up a lot of time. But I'm also just like the sort of person that loves to have a challenge and love to keep moving, or else I get really bored and kind of stale. And so I was like, okay, what do I want to do? And then I was like, oh, I'll be a high school teacher. That'd be mean. And then I was like, oh, I'm not good at any like subjects. I feel like there needs to be like one good subject that I really excel in to be able to teach that. And then I had a brain click and I was like, oh no, okay, maybe not that. And then I was like, oh, I can become a counsellor. And then that as well, I was like, oh, that's a lot of study, like on top of what I've already done. And so I was like, okay, what other jobs are out there? And then youth work came up, and the degree that I was doing at Unitech. And from there, as soon as I started studying that, I was like, oh, the work seemed easy because I was so passionate about it, and everything that they were teaching us just made so much sense, and really kind of gave me that drive in order to be like, okay, I want to do this. And then we started working at the organisation that we're in now. I started there as an intern, just on placement for uni, and then just kept turning up more and more on days that I wasn't meant to, and just kind of like hang around the office. Like, does anyone need anything? Like, can I shadow you? Go to different schools, and then from there just kept kind of working my way up until I became full time. So, helping young people was important for me because of how me and a lot of the people that I knew had been let down by the support that was in school. So I was like, no, I want to be the change. And then I've ended up here.
Wow, that's so cool. I guess what I got from you guys is, you know, just clicking to my mind, like what I call is like passion and purpose. It's like, and I feel like, and that's so fulfilling, you know, I guess, and it probably like even feels so fulfilling when you actually, you know, help out that, you know, that individual, right, or the one that needs it, you know, like, because like going back and thinking back about my, like in high school, like a lot of us really don't know, like how grateful we should be for specific youth workers. You know what I mean? Bro. You know, just like how much of an influence and impact they actually have on people, and wherever they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. Honestly, because I truly believe that, like, for some young people out there, bro, all it takes is like 1 hour with a youth worker, and that could just be the one thing that they need to be able to make them sort of be that, like, is it fork in the road? Yeah, where they can either choose one way or the other.
One or the other, yeah.
You know, and I truly believe that, like, there's just, it can take something so tiny, bro, to just really change where some person may be going, or you know, if it's gonna be maybe a stink place that they end up if they continue down the path they're going on. But yeah, I think that's a real fulfilling part too, you know, and just like keeping that in mind too, because sometimes you know, it can take a while to have a success story, because not everything, you know, it doesn't always go flowers and rainbows.
Yeah,
but
100%.
But bro, when it does, it's just
the best
life
feeling.
changing,
yeah, and I mean, just the engagement, the energy transfers that you have, bro, it's just on. And I could have done with a youth worker, bro, to have a bit of guidance in high school at times, you know, and I think it's awesome that it's getting more accessible for young people now too, which is which is on.
That's super cool, because like I think if we really think about it, until like we all kind of had like our own personal youth workers, you know, like, you know, all those who had parents or aunties and uncles and stuff like that. But in tune, sometimes like and for reasons that we do not know, like some people really don't have, you know, those influences around them. And lucky for them, like the youth workers have changed lives. You know, and that's the thing that, you know, like one thing that you point out, Jack, was like the small things, you know. There's like one quote I can remember, or an analogy like pilots make, you know, when they fly, they always have to stay on the same degree, you know, when they're flying, or like one coordinate or whatever it is, you know. And even just one little tiny off degree can change the whole course.
100,
you know?
bro.
Because you don't know, like those small changes actually lead up to wherever your destination goes.
That's so
you know?
true.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, bro.
Should claim that one.
Yeah, you heard it here first. Nah. But bro, so true, because like, and I think maybe at times, and I know even for myself, bro, I could do with like a adult worker at times, you know, that you just need, you know, you could be going on that degree to your destination perfectly, and then you have one little just like bump in the road in life that could be anything, that just takes you a bit off course, and then to sometimes just have that person that tap on your shoulder and go, oh bro, just take a step to the left, and then you're back on.
Then you're there.
Kate's bro, thank you. You know, I think it is just can be something so tiny like that could just change the whole course.
100%.
And there's so many different types of youth work out there. Like there's the real cool youth workers that go like play basketball and stuff with the young people. I'm like, always see them and I'm like, oh, that looks cool. And then there's others like us that are kind of like going into schools or doing all the paperwork for like the benefit and stuff like that for young people. But there's so many different options out there now that there never used to be when you were younger. But the difference between like a school counsellor and a youth worker is we can share our own experiences. Like we're not bound by something where we have to be like we're not there to just listen and not give anything back. Like counsellors are kind of there to get the answers out of you, ask the questions, and that's about it. And it can become a bit of like a sterile kind of environment for young people, and young people don't want sterile and clinical. They want like you know, authentic kind of like connection.
Just being there, you know, like
100%, and just people. Like, I mean, and we're both still young as well, so it's easier for young people to relate to us because they're like, oh, okay, they're not going to like, you know, they're not like an older person telling me what to do when they don't understand. It's like, nah, we're here for you, we've been through it, we get it, like, use us, you know? Like, actually reach out and use us. And then once they do, it's just like, from there, like some of my young people I've had for like, since they were 16 and now they're 18, going off into the big wide world. And just seeing the transformation from when they first came in, couldn't even talk to me, to now where they're like sending me like videos on like Instagram and something like, look at this meme and all this stuff. And I'm just like, bro, like you've just seen such a transformation before you.
That's so cool.
And we're just there to assist it. Like it's them doing the mahi, but it's us kind of going like, these are your options.
So facilitating.
Why don't we try this, and then moving them forward. And
then like the blessing of just witnessing that too, you know, like just knowing that you in some small part that you played, like made a huge difference in someone's life, you know?
I even had to I did a reference the other day from one of my young people who turned 18 like a little while ago, and then they got the job, and then I got a message from them being like, your reference got me that job, and I was just like, no, I wouldn't have given you a good reference if you weren't a good person, sort of thing. So it's like, nah, you did all that work.
That's
and
so
it's just
cool.
it's so fulfilling. It's
That's mean. That's mean.
So cool.
That's so cool. Moving on, guys, loving this talk, by the way. It's mean. Moving on, talk to us about you guys' podcast, Up2. You know, just give us a, just talk to us about, you know, what made you guys start it and like what got into it, you know? Give us that quick story.
Hi, bro. Do you want to take this?
Oh yeah,
Yep.
sweet.
Just
So-
demonstrate that, that balance.
That balance?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, love that. So Up2 started, I can't even remember what month it was or when
September.
it was. September, that's the
September,
one.
yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't be the one telling this story. And for a while, we'd been discussing having some sort of podcast. Actually, it wasn't even a podcast. We were just like, we want an Instagram page that's
Yeah.
going to just promote positivity and stuff. Like, what can we do with this? And it started during lockdown, and we were just, a little bit bored. We were still working full time, but our caseloads were really low. Like, all of our young people were kind of like, oh, we're all good. We're just at home. Like, we're sweet. And so we were trying to think of a way to just encourage people to kind of look on the brighter side. Like, all through our social media, we were just scrolling through and it was all just negativity and COVID and all that sort of stuff. And we were like, oh, this is just draining. Like, I don't even want to look at my phone sort of thing. Like, we want social media to be a place where people can come and feel uplifted and see other people's opinions and all
Shed
that sort
light,
of stuff.
you know, stuff like that.
100%. And so, we were like, oh, what can we do about this? We've got all this time on our hands. Let's just start up an Instagram page. And we started with TikTok and we were like, oh, let's just dance. Let's just do all these dances that we can.
Well, because it was Māori Language Week as well.
That's right, and so all of these songs were coming out and everyone was doing all these dances and we were like, oh, we'll jump on that bandwagon. And it's funny that you mentioned Juno, like the German Shepherd. She just takes her around, but everyone just cares about her. Like, they'll be like, what's the dog doing? I'm like, what about us that learned this dance for like an hour?
Yeah.
You're not even looking at us.
Oh, bro, yeah, that was funny that video.
We still get comments now being like, what, the dog doesn't know any of the songs. But like, that was like a year ago.
Bro, because what happened, right, is we did this TikTok to, it was like, what do you call it? It's like, if you know this Māori song, you stand on this side of the screen
and you know which one you know.
Yeah, no. And so it started off all three of us like on the yes side, and then and then we were like bouncing back and forth, no yes, but Juno just stayed in the in the no, and she was like in the no one, and then all of a sudden at one point it was onto the song where we went from like no to yes, and then when we were like yes, like, oh yeah, we know this one, she was just like and then just like walked out the screen. But bro, it was perfectly timed that like everyone who watched it was like, oh my god, your German Shepherd needs to step her game up, like doesn't even know the songs.
We're like, she's German, she doesn't know English.
I was like, fire, you fellas are funny, eh?
That's crack up.
Yeah.
And so we just started doing our TikToks and stuff, and then we were like, oh, we'll start up an Instagram page. And at first we were like, oh, let's just post some of our like thoughts and feelings and just some positive things, just to raise the vibration a little bit. And then from there we were like, oh, podcasting. Like, we both love talking. We were like, what about this? And then we spent all our money on a couple mics. Like, kind of got a bit of a setup, and we just started off just us two, just like talking about stuff. And then eventually got to the point we were bringing guests on and just hearing their thoughts and stuff. And from there it's just steadily rose and become like such a little, like, it's kind of like our baby, we're so proud of it.
100.
And there's so much like growth that's happened with us, like from where we were at the beginning to where we are now, and just the conversations we've heard and taking in what everyone has said that's been on the podcast. Like, so many gems were just dropped like
that's
throughout
so
every
cool.
podcast, and we were just like, wow, we leave these feeling so inspired. We hope people are feeling the same. So that's kind of how it started, where it is now. And now we're just kind of wanting to just connect, and connect with as many people like yourself, like on podcasts that have the same sort of
same sort of vibe and
same
energy,
sort of vibe and same sort
bro.
of like intent, and that's just to make the world a better place.
100%.
And I think as well, like, one thing that we've noticed, bro, is like, since starting Up2, and we've spoken about this to somebody else. Oh, Cash from
Human Now,
the Human Now podcast. Bro, like, the community, the online social community around the podcasting space, like, we didn't realize how many connections and genuine, good, positive connections that we would make, just like we've made today. And we were just getting connected to like-minded people and people like yourself, and it's just been awesome that wasn't even something that we were like thinking could happen, but it has, and it's just sort of organically done that for us,
by
and
itself.
it's just like, it's cool.
and everyone's so nice.
Like,
we were shocked. It's not like and it honestly did shock me, because social media in itself, like with influencers and things, can seem like quite a competitive sort of space. Like, everyone's like trying to hustle above other people. But it seemed like the stuff that we're all doing, everyone's just there to support. Like, Cash from the Human Now has been like if you want to use my studio and record your podcast, like go for it, and I can do all the editing for nothing. And we're like, how can people be so kind? Like, and we would do the same for him, mate. But it's just like, everyone's just so supportive in this community, and it's just really nice to see. I'm just like, that's all I needed. That's all I want to see, is that there are people out there wanting to bring a bit of positivity to the world.
It's such a good community, eh? Like,
heck yeah,
because when I was doing research, like, you know, trying to, I guess, you know, build our own platform here in Authentic. It's just like everything was just about collaboration, posting and sharing good, like, unicorn or meaningful content. And if you think about it, like, if you add all those up, it's like that's all positivity. You know, like, you know, and then the support you get by collaborating with other people, you know, and trying to, you know, create good content for your own audience and stuff like that. And that's what draws people in, I guess, you know, just, you know, those connections that we make, you know, with other people. It just creates that sort of energy and vibe that inspires not only ourselves but those people that follow us as an audience, you know.
100, bro, totally. And it's so cool, bro, and it's interesting because, like, when we were researching about Up2 and starting you know, like, I actually found it quite difficult to sieve through all of the different opinions that are online and stuff like that. And yeah, bro, it really, you know, you think there could be like some secret code or something like that, but it's actually just a case of just being genuine, authentic, being yourself, and then it's just amazing how you draw in all of those things once you start 100%. Living them, you know what I mean? Like, you start drawing in the people, and connections and moments, opportunities, and it's just awesome to see it unraveling.
Bro, that's mean, bro. Yeah, because I don't know, it's just a great experience, you know, just to be on that board and then just to, like, you know, ride with it. So it's super cool. I guess moving on to one of our next questions. This is a new one we had, so we wanted to, you know, bring it up with you guys, see what you guys' thoughts are. But we wanted to ask, what do you think is New Zealand's greatest strength and weakness?
Oh, that's a good question.
That is a mean question.
Who came up with that?
Bro.
Was that you or the?
Our crew. I'll go second.
You're hard. All the boys.
All the boys.
You can go first.
Okay.
So I can think about it.
Well, the first thing that's come to mind is like, I think one of New Zealand's strengths and weaknesses is that, like, we can. Oh shucks! Wait, hold on. I had the sentence, but it just fell apart in my head. It's to do with, like, one thing is, sorry, okay, I'll start with this. The tall poppy syndrome is something that I wish that we could get rid of, and I'm trying to currently practice, you know, not being like a cocky guy or anything, but like, of course, stay humble, but also I want to own for myself, like, yeah, I am good at doing the podcasting, I am good at doing my edits or whatever. So that, I think, is a bit of a weakness, but a strength at the same time, in a way. But I think with the country as a whole, I think we can easily focus on things, which is really great. But I find with New Zealand, we can focus on really small things that, if we just expanded that view or that perception a little bit more, we could see something a lot bigger. And I think, in a way, you know, like yourself doing what you're doing here is doing that expanding of your perception, because you're creating this. And I think New Zealand could, just through trying to break away from that tall poppy syndrome and owning your own stuff in a positive way, that we could create as a country so much more. So I think that was probably like a strength and a weakness in itself. But yeah, I feel like if something else comes to me, like, I'd love to put that in, because I think that question, the more I'm sort of like relish it, I'll flourish with some others. But
no, you've had your.
What do you reckon? But, sorry, you're hard.
No, I'm kidding. I think New Zealand's greatest strength is that everyone wants to do better. I think the biggest weakness is we're not well enough resourced for people to do better. Like, my mind's, I mean, I kind of...
No, I get what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying? My mind immediately goes to young people, just because that's where we work. But it's like everyone's really trying their best to do with what they've got, and everyone wants to be kind and everyone wants to be connected with people. But then there are certain areas that just let us down in terms of support. Like, to get a counsellor is so expensive, you know, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's like
100%.
there's barriers to being able to be better. And I think New Zealand's just trying to navigate their way around that, seeing what we can do with the resources that we do have.
Do you think it's like just trying to find their own way, or like understand, like, or a better understanding of like how certain systems work and like what more we can do? You know what I mean? Because I feel like sometimes in New Zealand, and I guess at times, because my last podcast when I shared the question, my mate or the guest was really like, oh bro, that can be true, and I said one weakness that I feel like New Zealand can have at times is a sense of entitlement sometimes, and that it can be dangerous to itself. I'm not saying we're entitled to stuff that we own, we have 100%, but just I guess a whole aspect of feeling that I'm entitled to like everything, you know.
I get what you're saying,
bro. I don't know if I'm saying it right, you know what I mean?
But I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Because even for me, like, and you could probably speak to this, bro, but like for me, I find that even in the States, the grind, that the natural grind that's within is, well, from what I'm seeing, is like they've got more of it. And then in New Zealand, it's a bit more sort of like, oh, why can't I blow up? Or like, oh, why is it,
exactly,
you know? But
bro.
over there, they just grinding, bro, and they just like don't give, you know, they just don't care. They're just like, nah, stuff it, let's just go hard. And they just own it. And that's that side that I wish New Zealand could have a wee bit more, because I truly believe, bro, if you just live in that, bro, you're going to create something dope. But yeah, so I think, I feel like from what you're saying, that's what I'm getting, bro.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Because I feel like sometimes we do kind of victimize ourselves and think to ourselves, you know, why can't I be where that guy's at? Or why can't I have what that person has? I'm not knowing myself, like, well, I'm not doing A, B, C, D. You know, like, I'm not putting in the effort. You know, it's like trying to go to the gym, right? Trying to get a 6-inch bicep, but we're not doing any curls. You know what I mean?
Bro. Hard.
Yeah, that's true.
Nah, I totally agree with that, brother. I reckon that's totally something that NZ could work on, and that we, you know, we can try and advocate for, you know, on these platforms too.
Because we all have, like, and then that's the crazy thing that I always try to tell people is like, we all have mean potential, you know, mean potential, and we have the ability to have great work ethic. You know, it's just trying to find, like, for you guys, like, you guys found like that, and I think that's a game changer, is that passion and purpose. Like, once they understand that, it's like it changes the whole game,
bro.
You know?
hard. And once they and I think it sucks how for some people it does just take that bit longer to find that passion and that purpose, but once you do, and like, even whatever that passion could be, it could be like cooking,
anything, bro, anything.
You know, and some people might be like, oh no, but cooking's whack, like I'm not going to get anywhere with cooking. But bro, you put your mind to it, you might be working at a Michelin star,
yes sir,
like, top tier, you know, restaurant somewhere around the world, but by doing that passion, like, I believe that once you find your passion and that thing that really sparks like your inside and your soul, and it wakes it up, I think by working on that and doing that, whatever it is, whether it's bloody, I don't know, knitting or something, you're going to be filling your cup up whilst you're doing that. And in return, by you filling your own cup up, you're going to be able to give more to others. It'll be easier. You'll find that, you know, life will be easier for you, because you're satisfied. You feel more complete, and you're less, maybe, broken's not the right word, but, you know, if there's cracks there, then that water could just help fill those gaps, kind of thing. And like, the brother, one person I look up to majorly is Up2 Aotearoa, plant-based Māori. So one thing he told me was that I love to share it, because it just hits so hard for me, is that whole idea of doing something that fills your cup up so much so that you get overflow, and the overflow is what you give to others. And I was just like, bro, when I heard that, I was like, yes, that's so right. And I've told young people that, and they're just like, it clicks, you know, it clicks something else for them, and they're just like, wow. But yeah, I truly believe that once you find your passion, that's gonna all just kind of come naturally along with that.
Yeah.
I think that's what I mean though, in terms of, because like I fully agree with you both, but I think in terms of resources, in order to find that passion, I know I'm going back to young people again, but like in schools and stuff, they don't allow that. Like, if you're interested in knitting or cooking, they don't.
That flexibility.
They don't foster it. They don't like nurture it. It's kind of like there's the set subjects and stuff. So it's like it takes a really long time for people to find that passion, because I mean you've spent so many years in school. And then you go into the wide world, but you haven't really experienced or been able to really work on what it is that you love doing.
That you really love doing.
Or they'll kind of try to put you off it and be like, oh, there's no money in that, or, you know, anything like that sort of thing. And it's just like, I don't know, I think there should be more opportunities for people, especially at a young age, to be able to have a space to figure out what it is that they're passionate about, so that they can go ahead and really do that and put all their heart into it and then kind of go from there. Yeah.
That's so cool. That's 100%. Love it. I guess what next question, what would be one piece of advice you guys could give yourselves?
Piece of advice. I think for me, one thing that I could do is, like, seems generic or like cliche. Oh no, not cliche, it's just generic. But bro, just doing more fitness. Like one thing I need to do is take care of my tātinana more, bro. Like I need to overcome this sort of like laziness, bro. I think it's actually just laziness. But I need to do that for me, because I feel like, you know, at a young age, bro, I'm 22. I'm at that perfect that stage to like prime my body for what I will be, you know, 35 onwards. And I've heard people say, you know, like if you don't do this now, your body will suffer when you're 40, 50 and all that. And so I'm like, one thing for me is I definitely need to do more like fitness and things like that. But also at times I need to practice a bit more of like letting down the ego every now and again, bro. Like I try to preach that 100 and all the time with my young people, but sometimes I gotta, you know, check in on myself and be like, actually, brother, you're not, you know, you need to learn to drop the ego a bit more sometimes around certain things. So for me, just a bit more of that conscious thinking, I think sometimes around my ego, getting vulnerable and stuff. But yeah, it would be that, bro, because I find that can take charge sometimes in certain situations, and I don't like it when it does. And I know that my higher self is looking down, being like, oh, brother, up to, like, you know, and being the person that I truly believe I can be and want to be is not that. So yeah, chipping away at that, bro, and making just those more conscious, aware decisions.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that'll be me.
Cool answer. I think for me, I need to back myself a little bit more, which I feel like with the podcast, it's given me a lot more sense of like, oh, you've actually got this, like you're all good sort of thing. Because before that, and even like slightly now, I'd kind of be like, oh, like I've got no input, you know, like just don't say anything if I'm like the hooey or something. I'm like, oh, like your voice doesn't really matter. That sort of really like negative self-talk. And even at the beginning of our podcast, after every podcast day, I'd just be like, oh, like, why can't I? Because Jack's such a good speaker, like he's always been really good, but usually I used to get like quite nervous. Like now I'm kind of like more excited to do stuff, especially when we come on other podcasts and we're like, yo. But before that, it was kind of just talking myself down, not really backing myself. So in a sense, I have the opposite problem. I need to get a little bit more ego and back myself a little bit more and stand in like my power and be
just
like,
balance that out.
Yeah, be like, no, you can do it, sort of thing. And then I'm a massive overthinker. I kind of overanalyze everything because I'm really sensitive to other people. Like I'm the sort of person that can kind of pick up on, like if someone's feeling, you know, low or whatever, I'll kind of pick up on that straight away and hold it myself. So I think I need to get better at protecting myself, looking after myself before I'm able to support other people.
100%. Love it.
How about you, bro?
He's like, nah, next question.
He's like, bro, you're on my podcast.
For me, one piece of advice I think I need to remind myself a lot is, I was watching this TikTok actually, and it clicked to me, and I thought I implemented a lot throughout my podcasting or throughout whatever I do. And there was a TikTok, and a lot of actors like Robert De Niro and Jamie Foxx and stuff were talking about on the table. One of the things that they talked about was, remember that this too shall pass. So like just thinking about like, you know, at times when you're like when our ego is high, or when we're down in the dumps, or when we're at this moment, or whatever trial we're at, I always think to myself like, you know, this too shall pass. You know, like thinking about like whatever it is going to happen, it's going to go away, and then, you know, I mean, there's always sun at the end of the rain, you know?
Yeah.
Just something like that. So I think that's one advice I always try to remind myself, you know, it's just like remembering that this shall pass. So just remember that.
That's so important. Like, it's important for everyone, but especially for people that are really like down in the dumps and feeling really low. It feels like it's going to last forever, you know, like you feel like, oh, I'm going to feel this way forever. And it may feel like a really long time at the time when you're sitting in it. But reminding yourself of that is just such an important thing, and to believe it as well. Like, not just saying it to yourself, like, this too shall pass, and then you're kind of like waiting for it to pass. It's like you got to put in a little work sometimes for it to pass. But knowing in the end that you're not going to feel this way forever, I think is just such a good reminder. So, yeah, I really like that one. Good one.
Yeah, bro. 100.
Thank you guys.
Good question, Jack.
Yeah, Jack, love it. Great question. Moving on to one of our iconic ones is our last question. What does authentic mean to you guys?
Am I starting us?
Have you got one?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Nah, bro. Authentic is, to me, living just your true self, whatever that means to you. And I know that, you know, I had a sense of true self when I was a 16-year-old, and that true self is different to what it is now. But I think as long as you're just trying, to me, being authentic is trying to be the best version of yourself. Because through that process, I think you will show aspects of yourself, or discover aspects of yourself that really help you get to a super authentic stage. Yeah. And so, yeah, being authentic, I think, is just living your true self, you know, trying your best to do that, and really just owning you, you know, owning yourself. And yeah, that would be authentic to me, bro. Nice. I think.
Cool. For me, it's about knowing who you are and taking the time to figure that out. Like, no one's expected to know themselves fully. It doesn't matter how old they are, you know, like, you're never really going to be like, okay, this is 100% me. But I think it's really important to have those core values there of what you really believe in. Be open to growth and to change and stuff like that, but having those core values to guide you means that you can't be swayed so much by other people's opinions or, you know, other people's actions. It's not going to change who you are. And going into a room and fully sitting in that power and being like, this is what I believe in. If other people have different opinions, that's kei te pai, that's fine. But knowing who you are and standing in it, and then letting your actions like speak for that. Like doing stuff that aligns with your values, but figuring that out first. Like, I mean, I'm 28 and I'm still on a journey of figuring out what my actual core values are. But I think it's a really important thing, if you haven't thought about it before, to kind of be like, okay, what is my core values? And my core values, not somebody else's values, not your partner's values, that sort of stuff, but what actually speaks to my heart, and what do I want to, you know, who do I want to be?
That's so cool. I guess one thing that comes to my mind is I guess just being kind of like, just touching on both of you guys, is just being your most honest self, the most honest self that you can possibly be, you know?
100. And I think with doing that, like, whenever there's good, there's bad, and vice versa, right? But I think for anyone that might be listening to this, if this is resonating with you, and I'm not saying this to, like, for it to be scary or anything, but it will serve you for a higher purpose further down the line. But through that process of having that like really strong sense of self, you might lose people from, you know, your tribe that you've got, that could have been there for the past few years, but that's okay. It's okay for certain people to come and go. Like, I remember I think you were telling me this saying earlier this week, the one about the tree and like branches with friends and sort of group circles and things like that.
Yeah.
Maybe do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you reckon you could speak to that?
I
Because that's kind of perfectly
like that.
summarizes what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Along that journey of self-discovery.
Yeah, and I can't even remember where I heard it, so I can't even. I'll just claim it as my own again.
You heard it first.
Somebody in the world was saying how friendships are like trees. It's like you see the branches on a tree and you think that they're gonna last forever. You see all the leaves on the tree, and the leaves on the tree represent the people that come into your life for like a moment or a purpose, and then blow off. It's autumn, cool.
It's like seasonal.
Like seasonal friends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then you're just like sweet, and that's all
Yeah.
good. That's fine to have people like that. And then the branches, everyone kind of assumes like tree branches are solid, they're always there. But the thing is, a storm comes along.
Some of them break
The wind
off,
that we've had
yeah.
recently comes along,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
blows.
Branch comes off.
Branch
yeah.
comes off, and that's cool. And that means like the analogy is kind of like in times of turbulence, you may have friends that come into your life, but they can't handle that turbulence. They're outies. They're like, nah, later, ball. And then they go. And then the trunk and the roots are those like solid mates that
solid.
are going to be there through the storms, through the
Day
hard
ones,
times.
Day ones,
They're not
yeah.
seasonal. They've got your back. They've managed to like withheld that storm, and they're still standing and strong.
Yeah.
And I just thought
so
that was a
cool.
really cool analogy because I was
Yeah.
like, that's so true. And like I've seen so many people get caught in trying to hold on to friendships that don't serve a purpose or make them feel bad about themselves.
Keep the leaves, eh?
Yeah, or they've been like, they're trying to like glue on the leaves,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
they should stay here. But it's like, really, you should let them go because it's not serving you anything. It's not serving them anything anymore. Like you may have had a real cool time where you were together, but it's really important to focus on the trunk and the roots and the ones that are actually there for you because they're always going to be there.
Yeah, 100.
That's so cool.
And I think in hindsight, some of those leaves that'll fall off, you'll actually thank them too. Because for me, in the past, I've had those sort of seasonal people come through my life.
Yeah, yeah.
But they've taught me something great about
for sure.
myself or about the world or about what it means to have a certain relationship. And I find that, these people, even if they're just in your life for a little bit, I truly believe that we do come into contact with people for a reason. And whether you put that down to... if it's like a God that you believe in or a higher power, I truly believe that there is an element of that sort of draws us to moments, and just to not be afraid if you are going to go on this journey of being your like authentic self and truly living that. Don't be surprised if people do fall off your waka because they're not meant to be there anymore. And I do know that for me, there was a time where I was going through like mad personal development. And it actually was more uncomfortable than comfortable. Even when I thought I would end up more comfortable given the type of thing I was doing, like personal development. Surely that makes you feel better. But it actually made me feel uncomfortable for a moment. But that's good because anything that's within the comfort zone won't feel uncomfortable. So at that point, I was stepping outside my comfort zone. Which therefore, so by doing that, I was able to realize like, oh, shucks, I can take it that extra step further out of my comfort zone. And bro, since then, I've stretched that thing out heaps, and so I think, there was a time where it was just a bit ugly, but light was on the other side and it was way brighter than it was before, like kind of thing. So just wanted to add that in. I think it just popped into my mind and I thought that'd be cool.
That's super
And
cool.
can I just add one thing as well, just clicked in my head, thinking about being authentic, I think it's also about pulling yourself up and being like, nah, you shouldn't have done that, or like really kind of analysing yourself and not being too hard on yourself where you're like, I'm a failure, I suck, that
Or
sort of
just
stuff.
like being reflective.
Being like, okay, I made a bad decision there, or maybe this isn't really serving me right now, or maybe I shouldn't have said something I said, but pulling yourself up on that and then learning from that and moving on. I think that's being true to yourself. It's what you're talking about, being honest with yourself. Just because when you said there's always shade and light and stuff like that, I think it's kind of good to be a little bit harsh on yourself sometimes when you need to pull your head in and remind yourself like, okay, no, we were all about growth here, we need to work on this.
Guys, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. We're grateful for you guys' answers.
Loved it, bro. Loved it.
Bro, I loved it, bro.
Yeah. I'm like, actually, I just got one more thing to add. Nah. Save it for part 2.
Yes, sir. Part 2. Hey, we got many more to come. with many more to come. Guys, but we just like to thank Jack and Morgan for being there with us from Up2. We're grateful for them and for their insights and what they're able to share with us today. And also we'll make sure we put all their details down below in the description. Just make sure you guys go like, subscribe, and comment for their podcast as well, and for their content coming out as well. But yeah, if you guys, if you're tuning in, please, like, subscribe, comment. Also, follow us again on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on YouTube. But until then, we'll see you guys later. All right, guys, we'll see ya.
Cheers.
Let's go.